Hello everyone, Christine here at Christine's Craft Table. Today I'd like to share my thoughts on the pattern and yarn for my recently completed blanket for Camp Boggy Creek. But first, I'd like to welcome my newest subscribers. They are AJ's Personal Touch, Megan Lane, Ms. Glow's Crochet Creations, Gloria J. Bowman, Huguette Watson, Sean Patrick McNeil, Willow Tomlinson, Ainsley, Timing M, Trinity Says, Once Upon a Stitch 50, Sandra Luss, Laura, Jalen, Kristen Johnston, Mr. and Mrs. Mountain Folk, that's cute, Missy C, Amy Betancourt, Dana Short, Judy Hawk, Charlie Okeson, Strings and Threads, Ellie Levas Crafts and More, Alan and Janet Pohl, Deanna Kaufman, Life in Janie's Crochet World, Virginia Kroll, Susie Baker, and last but not least, Chaotic Hippos. That's cute. Thank you and welcome. Don't forget to hit the bell button if you haven't already, so you don't miss my next video. Now, back to the blanket. So let's talk about the pattern. The whole idea of the luck of the draw crochet along is that you choose your pool of colors from which you will draw one color per round. So the colors will go into the blanket in whatever order they are drawn, if they are drawn at all. In the 2023 make-along, we started with 8 colors, but discovering the required measurements of the Camp Boggy Creek blankets only allowed for about 6 rounds, Jack suggested reducing the number of colors to 4 this year. So these are the 4 colors that I chose. The pattern for the square was created by Jax at Creations by Jax for the Luck of the Draw Crochet Along, which she and Charm Granny hosted for the 2023 Blanket Drive. Jax still has that entire playlist on her channel, so if you'd like to make the blanket, you can follow their weekly drawing videos or draw your own like I did this time around. I have to say, the random drawing for each section is part of the fun of this pattern for me. This is my 3rd time making this blanket. So, for each section, I randomly drew one color out of the 4 that I had chosen for my palette. Well, 2 colors quickly took over the show, which was a little unnerving. I was really hoping to see all 4 of my colors work themselves into the blanket, but it wasn't to be. I even changed my method of choosing the next color, thinking that maybe my fingers were being drawn to the scraps of paper that I had already been chosen. So I switched to using identical markers, closing my eyes to choose, and I continued to choose the orange and green. Oh well. I was not thrilled with those results. I was even tempted to cheat and redraw to get a different color, but then I was reminded of all the beautiful orange flowers and bright green leaves out there, and that just made me feel a lot better. And thankfully, in my last draw, finally the color blue showed up to provide a nice border. The pattern itself is super easy, a combination of rounds of double crochet and window rounds. I love the square shape, which makes it easier to keep the stitch counts consistent. Though I did count stitches after every side, because it's just too easy to miss a stitch or add an extra if you're not paying attention. So for my own peace of mind, I count. This pattern is kind of addictive, I will warn you. You want to keep working to find out what the next color will be. I finished this blanket in less than a week, which is pretty fast for me. The final measurements are 40 inches by 40 inches, and I used a total of 1,034 yards. As I've said before, I love this pattern. It gets a 10 out of 10 from me. There is also a free PDF of the pattern available on Jax's website. It is called LOTD8 Square Pattern.pdf at creationsbyjax.com. I'll put a link to that in the description box. As far as the yarn, I was really pleased with how soft and lightweight and drapey the blanket is, even before washing. So these are the yarns I used. The main color, Lion Brand Pound of Love in Antique White. This is on the thinner side of a 4-weight. It's like a 7 out of 10 for me because it is kind of thin. The color is very pretty though, but I've not been thrilled at how this yarn fares after several washings. It begins to have a worn look. Probably okay for a blanket, but I have a cowl that I made with this that I really loved at first, but after 2 winters, it doesn't look quite as nice as it used to. The next yarn is Karen's Simply Soft Speckle in Himalayan Salt. This gets 8 out of 10 for me. I love the softness of it, but it's a little splitty, so you have to crochet with care when you use it. And it's not my favorite color. I received a whole bunch of this in 2 mystery boxes that I got last year, so I'm looking forward to finishing it up. The next is Lion Brand Skits Creek in Cafe Tropical, which is this beautiful green. At first I love this yarn. It's very easy to crochet with and the color is beautiful and vibrant. It probably had the best stitch definition of the 4. However, after I had crocheted several rows, running my hand over them, comparing it to the Karen Simply Soft and the Pound of Love, I didn't really like the way it felt. It almost seemed as if it has a coating of some sort on it, and it's not as soft as the other 2. Now, it's not like Red Heart Super Saver, but it just had this strange feeling. I'm hoping that it goes away after washing. So because of that, I gave it a 7 out of 10, and I probably wouldn't buy it again unless it was marked down. I bought this skein for $4.89 on clearance, regular $6.99 for 372 yards, and I guess that was okay. Lastly, I used Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn print in the color Chambray, which is this blue heathered look in the last section. I had forgotten how much I love working with Hobby Lobby I Love This yarn. It is so soft and it's wound up very nicely. It doesn't split and it had no knots, and it was just a real pleasure to work with. And I love this color. So I gave this one a 10 out of 10. I need to use this yarn more often. The last yarn in my palette was Loops and Threads Soft Classic in Raspberry, which I didn't get to use because I never drew it. And looking at it now, that may be a good thing because while it is a 4-weight, it's a bit bulkier than the other 3, so it might not really have meshed well in this blanket. I enjoyed using my Clover Soft Touch 5.5mm hook again on this project. I like this hook so much, I just ordered 2 more sizes. So thank you again to Dana at Dana's Wonderlust Crochet, who kindly gifted me this hook. I think it has really enhanced my crocheting. So, if you are looking for some inspiration, some fun, and an easy pattern that works up quickly, please check out that playlist on Jax's channel. I will include a link to it in the description box below the video. Just click on the word More in the light gray box. I'm calling this blanket Orange Flowers, Green Grass, and Blue Skies. It will be going to Camp Boggy Creek with the Boggy Blanket Brigade, led by Nancy at She's Got Yarn Too. I'll put a link in the description box with more information about Camp Boggy Creek and the Blanket Drive. The 2024-2025 drive for Camp Boggy Creek is just about to get started, so you have plenty of time to join the many crocheters and knitters who will be sending in blankets this year.